Mr. Rosenthal, please begin.
Good morning, members. My name is Bob Rosenthal. I'm counsel to the Siting Board. So the first issue, matter on the agenda again, is the number 3 Wynn petition for rehearing. So let me start with a little bit of background. On November 12th, 2019, this board issued a certificate order for the number 3 Wynn project consisting of 31 turbines to be located on several parcels in the towns of Lowville and Harrisburg in Lewis County, about 30 miles southeast of Watertown. The project developer, NTW, filed a timely petition for rehearing, to which DPS and DEC staff responded, as well as a community group known as THARP. Before you today is an order denying the petition in part and granting the petition in part. The petition for rehearing focused largely on findings related to 3 issues. First, post-certification compliance requirements for turbine noise. Second, all findings related to the impacts of 2 protected grassland bird species. And third, the aspect of the order determining not to waive the town of Lowville's local law relating to undergrounding 2.8 miles of a 4-mile transmission line.
We have to do it faster.
First on turbine noise. First, a good piece of news. Neither NTW nor any other party challenged where the board landed on the noise standard. 45 dBA for non-
On January 1st, 2020, and after issuance of the certificate order, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, or also known as the CLCPA, became effective. One of the key elements of the CLCPA is the mandate on all agencies, including the board, to consider whether issuance of any permits is, quote, inconsistent with the attainment of the statewide greenhouse gas emissions limits. The order before you accounts for the CLCPA mandate by granting rehearing for the limited purpose of giving NTW more flexibility in creating an off-site mitigation plan, including potentially reducing the mitigation ratio to something less than 3-to-1. The order before you accounts for the CLCPA mandate by granting rehearing for the limited purpose of giving NTW more flexibility in creating an off-site mitigation plan, including potentially reducing the mitigation ratio to something less than 3-to-1. The CLCPA is now in effect, and it requires this board to ensure that its findings are consistent with the clean energy goals established in that statute, and they are very aggressive clean energy goals. We believe that the CLCPA will play a growing role in this board's decisions moving forward. And third, it has always been this board's intent for developers to work with municipalities. That is what NTW did here. And part of the reason why this order authorizes the waiver of a local law. And with that, I am open to any questions that you may have.
The matter is approved and the recommendation is adopted. And we'll move to the next item of the agenda. Mr. Rosenthal will present, and Mr. Rosenthal, please begin.
Thank you, Chair Rhodes. So also for your consideration today is an emergency rulemaking that modifies both the definition of the term revision and related provisions of the regulations adopted to implement Article 10 of the Public Service Law.
When I use a word, it means what I choose it to mean, neither more or less.
The question is whether you can make words mean different things.
The question is, which is to be the master, you or the word, that's all.
As explained in the regulatory package before you, application of the existing definition of revision is creating unintended negative consequences, the most prominent of which is to cause unwarranted delays in the permitting and construction of renewable energy projects in the state. These delays potentially render projects uneconomic by jeopardizing their eligibility for a federal tax credit, which expires at the end of 2020, time-sensitive project financing commitments, and achievement of construction milestones needed to maintain rights to interconnect into the state's electric power grid. Absent this emergency rulemaking, the state's goals for deployment of renewable energy resources and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions would be impeded. Because these goals are vital to the protection of public health and welfare, and the existing provisions as applied may cause certificated renewable energy projects to be abandoned, the public interest warrants that the definitions should be modified immediately.
When I use a word, it means what I choose it to mean, neither more or less.
The question is whether you can make words mean different things.
The question is, which is to be the master?
Let me get into the details of the problem.
But we have to do it faster.
The existing definition revision incorporates a bright line test that is triggered if project components like an access road, transmission interconnect,
To meet the clean energy goals set by the Public Service Commission and under the CLCPA. It is also important to note that the goals of and intent underlying adoption of the CLCPA also underline the reasons to move immediately on the rule change. The CLCPA requires by 2030 for a minimum of 70% of the statewide electric generation to be provided by renewable energy systems, and by the year 2040 for the statewide electric demand system to generate zero emissions. The legislative intent underlying these aggressive targets is included in Section 1 of the CLCPA. And that concludes my presentation, and again, I am open to any questions with respect to the rulemaking.
I will proceed to call for a vote. My own vote is in favor of the recommendation to initiate a rulemaking process concerning the proposed amendments to the Article 10 regulations, Parts 1000 and 1001, and to adopt the proposed amendments on an emergency basis.
We have to do it faster.
Mr. Alexander, how do you vote? I also vote in favor. Dr. Lewis Michael, how do you vote? In favor. Mr. Ravashir, how do you vote? In favor. And Mr. Williams, how do you vote? In favor. Thank you. Thank you. With that, I adjourn us. Thank you very much.